Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer of the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and our tech partner Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is Balancing the Scales, Law, Life, and Leadership. We have with us dynamic and multifaceted legal expert Haseet Bhatiya, partner at Bhathiya Legal, who has carved a niche for himself in indirect tax, real estate law, and structuring advisory. With over a decade of experience as a lawyer and company secretary, Haseet has been a guiding force behind major legal decisions and strategic business planning. Outside the courtroom, he is known for his innovative approach, his ability to break down complex regulations, and his passion for delivering results. Join us as we dive into his professional journey, personal stories, and quick takes in this unmissable coffee conversation. So, welcome Hasid Bhai to today's coffee conversation. After a festival day, yesterday we did one a coffee with uh, ye- like you. He's also into indirect tax, अपना GST. He's a tax
Okay.
litigation lawyer from Uttarakhand. He's worked
Okay.
with HSA, DSK, Deloitte, and now he shifted to his hometown.
Lovely. Thank you, Amir Bhai, for having me. And it's a pleasure to be a part of your show.
Wow. So let me explain you the flow and the format. You must be aware of the two rounds, but there is a surprise rapid fire round for which
Sure.
you have to be witty, funny, and quick, and you'll get
Sure.
this book autographed and signed by me. This will be your New Year gift, Hasid bhai.
Lovely.
So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host of Coffee Conversation and a legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal, startup SMEs with world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So, my first question, Hasid Bhai, uh, how has your journey been till date?
So, journey has been wonderful. So, as a professional, life is all about like being into a roller coaster. But the good part is that if you are guided properly, you know the route. So if you know the route of the roller coaster, you are able to handle it well. So far, so good. And it's all positive because of the kind of growth that India as an economy is seeing. And the professionals' involvement in shaping up the governance part, the businesses, I think there is a lot that a professional can contribute, and touchwood, we as professionals are able to be in the right time at the right place. So that's helping us.
Wow. So, my next question, Hasid, what inspired you to specialize in real estate law, GST? Was there a pivotal moment in your career to be specialized in this niche area?
So yes, so generally what happens, it's like the law of attraction. So during my college days, most of my friends in the group were from real estate background. So from that perspective, a lot of casual conversations wherein they would talk about FSI, they would talk about particular pockets in Bombay, how markets are growing or being sluggish, what is the government policies and all. So as a part of the group, as a part of the conversation, I was privy to those kind of conversation, which in a way gave me an edge and a food for thought. And as a person who comes from a professional background, because my father is also a lawyer, I come from a family of lawyers. So at time of dinner also there are a lot of the technical things that people discuss. So my sister is a chartered accountant and a lawyer. So at home also there are a lot of things that we talk about markets and all. And getting insight from friends slowly attracted me towards real estate. But the right answer to your question is not the success but the failure. Because after my 12th standard, I pursued with the chartered accountancy course along with the BCom course. While I cleared the group 2 of CA final, which was more to do with the tax and the costing part, I couldn't clear the accountancy subject. Why I was getting very good marks in law and audit, but accountancy was something which was weak. So immediately after my TY, I started with the company secretary and the law as a course. So just to have a plan B for my career, that what if I don't clear CA? And eventually I realized it is good to be a lawyer with knowledge of tax rather
Hmm.
than being a bad chartered accountant with knowledge of law. So since my accounts was poor, I thought it's better that when my law was good. So I thought that since I already studied the course, that knowledge will always be useful. And like how Steve Jobs tells that you can always join the dots backwards in your life. So that line had really motivated me. And then when I pursued law with this tax and knowledge of accounts, costing, company secretarial, and all of those things, it helped. And when I joined my office in 2016, so prior to that, I was working at another chartered accountancy firm, then a company secretarial firm. And thereafter, I joined my family firm. So that was in 2016. So 2016, so like how I told, at the right place at the right time. So Bathiya Legal as a firm has been ranking among the top law firms for M&A. So the partners are anyways doing very good in M&A. So I thought if I also start doing M&A, then it will be very difficult to fill into their shoes. So I thought, why don't I do something different? Because I don't want to be a deemed unemployed kind of a thing. Because if firm is already doing so well, if I also
Hmm.
enter into it, there won't be a significant contribution that I can
Yeah.
make. So why don't I have a full service firm and enter into areas which are niche, different, and which will also help the firm grow. So 2017 was a time where in May 2017, RERA laws were implemented, and in July, the GST law got implemented. And I joined my firm in 2016. So, so in 2016 only there were drafts. Law was already circulated for people's opinion. So the government at that point in time was very sure that they are going to implement the GST law, the real estate law. So I come from a mid-size firm. So the partners or the senior people who are say competitors or professional colleagues would already be involved in the other act that they are already doing. For example, service tax, VAT, or the MOFA. So I thought that because I had a good time to study, because I was new, people would not have a very high expectation of me. Firm was anyways not doing this VAT related work or service tax related work or MOFA related activity. So I thought that if I use this 1 year's time to study and to approach clients and show them what would be a GST impact analysis or what would be a RERA impact analysis, that would help me understand the client's viewpoint, and I will have more time compared to my counterparts to study this. And by that, and I also will not have a burden of previous knowledge. So if you have a lot of knowledge about service tax law, VAT laws, MOFA laws, it is very difficult to rub those things and have a fresh slate. So forgetting and unwinding is very difficult. For me, it was a new slate. So I used that particular 1 year to study about real estate laws and GST laws, which were about to be implemented in a year's time. So I thought that would be the best place to be in. Plus, a lawyer with a understanding of a tax would also give me my own niche, because a lot of the lawyers who are in the real, so generally lawyers who would have accountancy experience would do something related to the company law. So they would not choose real estate as a vertical. So I thought if I do real estate and if I do with this GST laws, the both laws are new and I can be a combination of both. And as the
That's very.
industry and economy is growing, most of the
Hmm.
developers are also choosing to have a body corporate as the vehicle, which a
Yeah.
lawyer would not help in understanding those laws as well. So I thought, let me craft a niche for myself, and luckily it worked out.
That's very interesting. Your foresightedness and your experience from your college days, which inspired you being with your real estate friends. So let's continue the conversation. What has been the most challenging case in your niche areas of real estate, advisory, GST, and how did you tackle it?
So when it comes to real estate, with so many permissions, so many issues, every case that looks simple is much more complicated. But if I have to name one case. It was about redevelopment of a trust property.
Mm.
So in which tenders were supposed to be passed, and most of the bidders were a body corporate. So we had to handle society related laws, charity commissioner related issues, income tax related issues in the trust part, plus the incoming developer who would be a body corporate. So how will they do a development agreement? What would be the GST impact? What would be the capital gain in terms of, because some members of the trust would want to exit, and then there are people who are living in those who are not a part of the trust. So there was a combination of things that was to be handled. So we had to deep dive and analyze each of these options. So we had to chart it down that this is an option A, option B, option C, option D. And in every option, there would be a pros and cons, something which would be beneficial for the trust, but not beneficial for the incoming developer. If they are beneficial for both of them, it would not be beneficial from the user perspective, the end user perspective. And ultimately, trust was also a part of the leased land. So then there was a collector who was involved. So at these points, so we had to break it down, identified that what is the best that everyone could get, and make
Mm.
a hybrid approach. And if
Mm.
some person is getting benefit out of tax, then they will have to pass on that benefit in terms of commercial output to the person who is at a disadvantaged position if we take that option. So that was very tricky, critical. But one thing I realized that we have to understand that we are not master of all. So so sometimes what happens, no, that if we have knowledge about everything. So generally, we want to become master of all, but we have to understand that we may be jack of all, but we have to be master of one. And we need to
Yes.
seek other professionals' advice. We have to be a team player, involve other professionals. So if client has approached us, still before giving an opinion, such complex transactions are involved. In that, what I generally do as a person is that I seek opinion either from the senior partners of the firm who are having their niche expertise, and sometimes even to external firms, just to double check what opinion that we are giving is on the right part. Because one mistake that a professional does will cost a client a lot, but not immediately, but after 5 years. So we can't take that risk. So we involved other professionals also. So we created a final solution, but before implementing it, we got it vetted by the industry expert, by retired high court judges, sought their opinions. And one thing that I would want to advise to fellow lawyers also, that it is very important to seek a legal opinion, because professionals are always the soft target. So sometimes if we prepare an opinion, we give it to them, and if there is something that goes wrong, then we will always be the soft target, even though our intent was good. So it's always better to have two opinions as a comfort, so that if something goes wrong, it's not something, because client will appreciate the contribution you give, but something goes wrong, then you would be on the target list. So it's always better to have other people involved, take two opinions, so there is a very less margin of errors.
Beautifully said. Wonderful. So let's continue the conversation. So, Hasid, how do you manage the constant changes in tax laws and real estate regulations, and what's your approach in staying updated?
So COVID really helped, because a lot of things due to COVID, these industry chambers started doing things virtually.
Yeah.
So earlier there were several industry chambers, but we had to physically be present to participate on those things. So after COVID, most of the industry chambers are also providing online as well as offline things. So wherever we are not able to attend offline, we attend online. So generally, I'm a member of CTC, which is Chamber of Tax Consultants. I was also in the managing committee of Malad Chamber of Tax Consultants. So I participate in the events that they organize. And wherever I'm not able to participate, I virtually attend. For example, BCAS also has a lot of courses which they upload on their website. So you can go to their website and have those courses viewed online whenever you have time. Plus, we take a lot of subscription of online agencies, for example, Taxman, Manupatra. So wherever there is any new thing that comes up, we tend to read on that. And if there is any new judgment that comes, we read that. And as a firm, we also have our own LMS software. So whenever there is such a new amendment that comes, one of the key person who is from that vertical will prepare a presentation. If we are able to attend physically, we attend it. Otherwise, it is uploaded on the LMS. And every month, the knowledge manager will assign that. For example, if I am heading the GST and the real estate vertical, any new course or updates will come of that, knowledge manager will assign it to me and I will do it. And for my staff, I will assign it to them. If I feel that this needs to be viewed by Mr. X, then I will assign it to him and then they will view that. So this is how we stay updated. And of course, the newspaper and all of those things are there. So wherever we feel if anything is relevant, we will study.
Beautiful. Okay. So, Hasit, you are part of the governing council at Naredco. How do you see the real estate sector evolving in India in the next 5 years?
So I think from a value perspective, the growth may slow down a bit in terms of pricing, but in terms of demand, I don't see any challenge and it is going to thrive because real estate has a significant contribution in India's GDP. So with a $5 trillion target, I think real estate will have to play a crucial role and government is putting much emphasis on housing for all. Also, real estate is a concept of demand and supply. So it's a function of demand and supply and land being limited and the kind of population that India has reached and even culturally, the families in India are being fragmented from a joint family to nuclear family. Again, thanks to COVID, people are understanding the need for having a larger space. And for example, now after COVID, I have a small office room in my own house. Earlier, we did not have, but when I went into a new house, I ensured that I have a spare room, which is
Oh,
my virtual office. So from that perspective, it helps.
wow, beautiful. Yes. Uh, COVID has made us कि भाई we have to be available for a team anytime, anywhere, and spaces are being
So people
created.
have realized that having an additional space is a luxury, and it is important to have that. And
Yep.
especially in metros where traffic is increasing day by day, people are going for a hybrid mode to have a
Yeah.
4 day work week. And also you need to also have, so if you are a warrior, you need to have your tools right, correct? So if you are a professional, you need to have adequate resources, adequate infrastructure to provide those services. So real estate, I see, but what I also see is that a lot of branded developers, lot of entities who are structured will
Mhm.
sustain, but those developers who are leveraging on debt or who are not structured properly, the debt equity ratio is not there. They are leveraging one project's money in other projects. So after RERA coming in, a lot of those things will get streamlined and future is for those developers who are providing gated communities, infrastructure, amenities. They walk the talk. So all of those things, a lot of improvement will happen in terms of quality of structures that the developers will have to provide if they have to sustain. So
Wow,
only B and A class developers will sustain and others will have to be wiped off.
that's uh, good for the real estate industries. कि भाई,
Yes.
ये genuine
So the
real players.
perception के builder है तो चोर है. So that has to go.
That is another topic which okay. No, what do you say? Develops are becoming more technology savvy and marketing savvy. Like our area has gone for redevelopment and they're using social media for. I'm seeing ads on YouTube and Facebook of our project, the Agawal Estate. Uh, the It's a community project, but the developer is Leighton from Australia. So
Okay.
interesting updates, everything. Yes, instead of being a community project, being giving us regular updates and heavily using technology. So yes, developers and real estate industry has changed and using social media and all those things was.
So 2 days back only, I was seeing interview of Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani, who is chairman of Naredco. So while he
Mhm.
was addressing to the media, what he told is that by using technology, they are able to bring down the cost by 10%. So while
Mhm.
the class B and C developers see implementation of technology at a cost, but the topmost real estate developer are seeing that if they are able to use technology, they are able to bring down the cost.
Yep.
So technology is nothing but an enabler. If you use it right, then you are able to actually add value and reduce the cost.
Beautiful. So Hasid, you work across various industries. So how do you customize your approach to meet unique needs of diverse clients?
So generally, all the clients need is the same. But the thing is, they come from a different industry, so we have to view it with a different lens. But if we are able to understand the unit economics of the client's business, that is where we can actually add value and give the solutions, because one shoe will not fit all. But if we are able to understand how they work, what is their requirement, what is the business like, because most of the lawyers I see that they will have a straight jacket solution. They will have the formats ready कि ठीक है ये चीज पूछा, the format है उसमें you put in those, fill in the blanks, but that will not give the desired output. Sometimes it may give, but not every time. So once we understand what the client is looking for, then if we are able to customize a solution, of course you can have a standard framework, but understanding the client's requirement accordingly, implement and use the right person for the right job. Most of the times people are having versatile personality. One person will do everything. So at our firm, what we do, that is we have created segments. And in
Wow.
segments also there are hierarchies such that then there is a vertical wise, that one person who is a part of general and commercial law, if he is into sustainable space, then that person will do contract drafting most related to, if there is a sustainable related industry, because that person has worked in that industry, he has done crime, then he will be in a better position to understand. So we are trying to go on that model, that if you are able to have people who have experience in that field and then they do, it helps.
Wow. So Hasid, how has your leadership style evolved over the years?
So leadership style over the initial thing is that we feel that we have to manage everything. But the real leadership is that we have to ensure that we have right system, right processes in the place, and then system will guide, because we have to trust the system. Leadership is not about commanding, it is about creating a system and trusting the system, and not aim for perfection. Most of the time, when we aim for perfection, we end up being stressed out because we don't get the desired output. Rather than that, if we focus more on a system driven approach and improvising system with the learning curve, I think the team will also value that, because the team will have their own space. They don't see a boss who is micromanaging, but at the same time, using some technology, some tools, time management, and other things, we are able to monitor, we are able to guide. So if we are able to lead the team from the front by guiding them as a teammate, it will empower them to, and also help them to follow the system and achieve the desired output. So this is what we are driving, and it's learning. So there is, I cannot say that we have achieved what we are looking for, but it's evolving.
Wow. So what does a typical day look for Hasid at Bathiya Legal, especially when balancing multiple client portfolios?
So again, like I told you before, that a day typical would be like a roller coaster, because at the morning we would see a real estate client, afternoon would be a GST client, and evening would be somebody who wants to do an IPO. So, so we have a day full of hustle, but since we emphasize much on system-driven approach, we know that if a client is coming, what is the agenda of the meeting, what is the background of the meeting, and we always have people on the bench. So if a particular client is coming, then somebody from the team would be in touch with that clients to get the backgrounds. They will do the homework. So it saves a lot of our time in understanding. And before meeting only, we have the background, we have the understanding. So it saves a lot of our time, and also it helps client because then the subject that they are talking, the questions that they are going to ask are then familiar ground. So if we know the route of a roller coaster, that helps. So a structured approach with the right set of team involved helps a day go very smooth. So unlike
Wow.
a typical firm wherein there would be a lot of stress, lot of hours, people would be burning midnight oil. So in our firm, we generally see that as a non-performance. So if somebody is working for more than 8 hours, so we see that as a non-performance, that the task that is given is for 8 hours. And if you are working 12 hours, then there is something wrong.
Yes. Okay. Wow. So, my last two questions for your professional journey round. How has technology helped you in your work?
To a great extent, I would say 40% of my efficiency has improved over the last 5 years. So technology alone may not help, but technology with the right understanding will help because now technology is of abundance. So as a firm, we would have 35, 40 different tools, but not every tool is useful to me. There will be certain tools. For example, we use CCH, Walter Cruz, iFirm for time management. So that helps in monitoring the team, that helps in also analyzing the work that we do. So, and also, for example, Power BI. So we use Power BI extensively because I would want a customized understanding because some softwares will give a typical output. Now, not every output that a software will produce is useful to me. It can be useful to different partners for different purpose. So I will sit with my IT guy, tell them that, look, this is what I want to do. This is what my clients are looking for. This is what my team is feeding in the system. So I want to every day at the end of the day, I want to see this output. So can you help me in customizing in Power BI to get this output from these softwares? So with that, every day when I open my Power BI at the end of the day, I will get to know what I want to know without opening those software. So with the, like I told you, with the right technology and right application of mine, we get the desired output. And also I use the traditional way of a box wherein I divide the things into four parts. The first and the most important is urgent and important. So everything that is urgent and important will go in that box. Then it is urgent but not important. So if it is urgent but not important, then why not we dedicate it to a resource? Because the client wants it urgently, but it is not that important, which needs my personal attention. So while it will be done urgently, but not by me, which is important but not urgent. So that's a third box, which I will only do because it is important, but it is not urgent, then I may not do it today. I will do it whenever the time is there. And fourth is neither urgent, not important, which I will give it to a resource who is idle and then ask somebody else to review it. So if we prioritize the things, then it helps you get the right output because sometimes clients will always want everything yesterday. So they will bombard you with things. And if you take stress out of all those things, you will end up doing a miserable job. So every day one has to plan the day before the beginning, how you want to do the day, see what task you have to do, and also use certain system. For example, our entire office is on Microsoft O365. So we have this to-do app. So every day, everything that I have, I will put in my to-do. And depending on these four box of priorities, I will either assign it to the person or do it myself and keep on monitoring these things. So every day, at least I spend 30 to 45 minutes in managing these things because we will have to sharpen our axis. So that's how it is.
Beautifully, you are using technology and that urgent, important, not important. these four boxes. I, I'm not able to recollect that principle, but beautifully you're organizing into the four boxes and involving your juniors, your other team members, and your IT team for the Power BI. That's very impressive. Okay, how effective technology and the systems, task management, so on. So, uh, eh, law firms and corporate legal out there, this is the episode you need to watch out how Bathiya Legal, Haseet and his team are using the power of technology and the art of managing things. That four boxes, which is very important. Check out my article, which I'll be writing on and publishing on how these four boxes are useful for your task management and delegation. So, my last question, uh, what advice would you give to young professionals entering the legal field today?
So I think entering the legal field is very easy, unlike some of the other professional where people make it difficult to enter. So your entering is very easy, but to sustain in the competitive environment is the biggest challenge. So people who love the hustle, who love to continuous learn. So legal field is for them. So it's like pyar hai to vyapar hai. So if you love the profession, then only enter, because otherwise entering is very simple, but then you will not be able to climb up the ladder.
Mhm.
And people who are able to have this technology in place, the ability to upgrade their skill sets and also live a disciplined life, because everybody knows what is required. So difference between a successful and an unsuccessful people is not that they don't know. Both of them have equal knowledge. Both of them, they know what to do, but the successful person is actually who does it. So now everybody knows that if you eat healthy food, if you do exercise, you will have a good health. But still, people will eat junk, they will not sleep on time, they will not get up on time. So it's not something people don't know what needs to be done, even in legal profession. Everybody knows कि क्या होना चाहिए. But वो discipline से वो चीज़ करनी पड़ेगी. Every day, throughout the life.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, let's go to our next round and understand Hasit as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years, Hasit.
So formative years have been very diverse. So during my post my schooling, during vacations, in my college days and all, I have learned different skill sets, right from designing the website to repairing a laptop to installing a wireless network. So because I wanted to do different things, I didn't know what to do. So I have studied the stock market, uh, then I also did something in sports. So I have learned karate for 8 years. Then I have played football for my school. I have played chess at state level. So I did what I liked at that point in time without knowing कि क्या करना है. जो चीज अच्छी लगती थी, I did it. And now when I look back, it is actually helping. For example, now when we talk, while our 30 minutes of conversation, we have spoken a lot on technology. But now I can repair a computer, I can do a wireless installation, I can build a website. So all those things will help me as a lawyer, uh, because technology is not something that everybody would easily accept. There would be a lot of reluctance. But if in your primitive years, if you have done all these things, then you are easily able to adopt and your understanding increases. During my school days, I had done a course on Lotus, which is like initially when there was no Windows. So there was a DOS, and before DOS, there was Lotus. So I have also done programming on that. So in my college, I have done Java, C, C++, SQL, all of those things. So when we have to implement technology today, it really helps. And as a family, so I come from a professional family. So my father is a lawyer, my wife is a lawyer, my sister is a CACS and a lawyer. So, and my cousins are also lawyers, chartered accountants. Uncle is a chartered accountant. So, as a family, we would be around 9 lawyers put together. So coming from that background, there was a lot of pressure, so as to say, to fill in the shoes, but the kind of exposure that I got really helped, because whatever people wanted to get as an internship or an experience, I got that for my entire life. So every day when I sit across my cousins or uncles and dad and everybody, I will get some or the other thing. So I will not understand at that point in time, but even if they are talking on phone, subconsciously we are listening what conversations are happening. So all these conversations and all slowly led to a strong desire to become a lawyer, because
Wow.
I thought as a lawyer they are able to solve things, and
Mm.
since we don't come from a litigation law background, we are only into corporate law and non-litigation. Most of our solutions are positive.
Mm.
So if the client wills, if the deal happens, that's where we earn. So the outlook is positive, the vibe is positive, and ultimately we see happy clients because deals get through if we are into an M&A firm. So whether we are on the buy side or the sell side, both are happy. The buy side gets the company, the sell side gets the money. So it's a win-win situation. So after every transaction, there is a celebration. Unlike in a litigation wherein if one side wins, other side loses, but in M&A, both side wins. So if we are part of the winning, the trajectory and all, so it's good. So that's where I thought that I want to enter into this field wherein we are able to give actually a positive situation and a win-win in either case. So
Wow. Okay. So, any favorite hobbies or activities you have recently started, because you have in your early days so many things you have done. So, something creative,
uh,
कीड़ा
So
कुछ काटा है?
recently I have started playing tennis and pickleball. So tennis in the
Woo.
morning and pickleball at night on alternate days. So because I didn't knew tennis during my younger age, and when I started playing pickleball, I realized that tennis is a game that we should learn before we grow old. So I thought that every time we should learn something new. And that's where, when I started playing tennis, I also realized that even in sports like profession, a lot of precision is required, a lot of practice, lot of mental fitness. And and when I asked a senior person that how are you able to play so well, he's like, I see each set differently. So if you are playing tennis, then you play in sets. So you don't take the baggage of the previous set. So every time, so like in profession also, every client is a new challenge, every assignment is new. You win some, you lose some, but every serve, every set is a new thing. So it builds a lot of positivity. So I have started playing these two new sports recently, and I like reading mythological books. I used to read a lot of self-development books earlier, but now my focus is on mythological books because then I read between the lines, understand that this mythology is in a way a history, but
Mm.
described in such a way that if you history is told as it is in the raw form, you don't tend to remember. You have to make it larger than life so that you remember. So, like how we like movies. So, if you say movie, so as a legal profession, everybody would admire Harvey Specter of the Suits. But life is not like that. The typical
Yeah.
law firm. So even every law firm would like to live that life, but that's not so. But in a movie, in a series, you will have to show a larger than life image. So that is what our ancestors have done by making the history in a mythological way, made it larger than life, added some masala so that it is easy to remember. So
Wow.
I try to read between the lines and get the crux out of it. That's my new passion.
Interesting. Okay. Uh, do you have a favorite holiday destination or travel experience that stands out?
So as such, I don't like to repeat the holiday destinations because there is so much to see. So every year I try to at least have a two or three international tours and two or three domestic tours. So I try to avoid repeating places because there is so much to see. But if I have to give you one destination that I would want to go again and again, it would be Ladakh.
Interesting. Okay. Uh, so Hasid, how do you stay connected with your family and friends?
So because we have born and brought up in a joint family, and as a family, we most of the partners are sitting in the same office, and most of them are partners, and we live close by. We can wave each other through our windows. We have our lunches together in office or at home. So, so touch wood, that has happened. But generally, what we do is all the festivals. We ensure that we all stay together because it's a large family. So we ensure that any celebration that is there, we don't go out. We ensure that we remain at home with family, and on weekends we are with friends. So we bifurcate that festivals are with family and weekends are with friends. So we can balance the both.
Okay. Yeah. So during my this warm-up call, you told that you were involved with Leo and Rotaract. Uh, any social cause or social work you are still doing, and what is it?
Yeah, so one of our partners in Bathiya Legal, Mr. Maharshi Dave, so he has founded a trust by the name of Sparsh. So I try to be actively participate in the projects that the Spurs does, and also help raise some CSR and try to regularly visit the hostels. So Spurs, maybe you can also take interview of Mr. Maharshi Dave maybe in your future sessions. So Maharshi Bhai manages around 6 hostels near Vapi in Kaprada, and there would be around 20 25 kids in those colleges who would have no parents or single parents. So recently we are working on helping them get digitalized. So so recently we are installing say a tablet in each of those hostels with a chat GPT Pro, so that kids get used to artificial intelligence. They are already using Vocard's online teacher, wherein all the chapters from first standard till 10th standard are digitalized for them. Now we are helping them learn AI. So whenever time permits, I try to visit those hostels or help Sparsh in some or the other way.
Beautiful, beautiful. I like to contribute to his hostels. Just wanted to, I'll give you details more when we close
Sure.
this conversation. Uh, my last question, which will be a googly one. Describe Hasit in one line or one para, whatever you want to say.
So it's very difficult to describe or judge oneself because it is very easy to judge or describe others, but it's very difficult to do it. But if I have to describe myself, I would describe myself as an enabler in one word, because I believe that the kind of exposure I have or kind of contributions I can help get things done faster or in a better way. So if one has to reach the target, I can be an enabler in that journey. As a professional, I have been always been an enabler in clients attaining their goals. So I think my goal is to uh, be an enabler and help people achieve what their dreams are. So that's my dream.
Wow. Okay. So let's have some fun. The rapid fire round.
Sure.
Uh, early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Didn't get
Night
you.
owl. Night owl.
Okay. Uh, entrepreneur you admire the most?
Entrepreneur I admire the most, it would be Ratan Tata.
Wow. Courtroom debates or boardroom discussions?
Boardroom discussions for sure.
Uh, your go-to comfort food?
Vada pav.
Um, uh, one law you didn't want to rewrite?
Mm, family law.
A skill you wish you had.
Uh, Art of looking into people's eye and lie.
Baap re. Okay. Your favorite color?
Red.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Milk.
Chalo, lekin you have to raise a toast since we are at coffee conversation. What's your apna favorite Gujarati food?
Khandvi.
Wow, me too. Okay. So you did very well. And here's your gift, which will
Thank
be
you.
sent to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, friends, it was a lovely conversation having with Haseet Bhatiya. Their law firm is also a client, and he has a unique blend of a CA, company secretary, and apna GST litigation, real estate advisory. So he's a person where he'll guide you on the numbers part and as well as on how the law and everything. So it's a unique blend, someone very few persons who take multiple educational qualifications and the power of technology, how he's guiding his team and the IT team of using the Power BI and that four blocks of task management, task delegation. So viewers out there from legal industry or anyone, how to use technology, this is the episode you should watch out and connect with Hasid Bhatia, anyone who wants to have for real estate, GST advisory, restructuring, IPOs. He's a person, his details will be there in the YouTube captions. Connect with him. There are like 300 plus episodes on the Coffee Corner show. Subscribe, get inspired. And if you want to be featured like Hasid, you can visit our website, the Emerging India Forum, or on LinkedIn, and you would have hot coffee with Coffee Conversation. So stay tuned. Look forward to more interesting things happening at the Coffee Corner show. Yesterday we had a panel discussion on data privacy. Look forward to more panel discussions and enjoy your day. Thank you.
Thank you.